What is up, guys? It's Slay here, and welcome back to another World of Warships gameplay. And today we are in the premium USN cruiser, the Flint, aka the meme ship. But today we're not going to talk about this meme ship. We're gonna go over April's update that is coming on Monday, April 12th for some of us, and for you European people, most likely going to be the 13th, which is a Tuesday. Moving on, we're going to talk about the premium campaign ship, which is the Suzuya Mogami class cruiser, of course. It has the 155 millimeter guns. Suzuya is going to be an HE ship to be reckoned with. And before you guys say it is another HE spammer, don't think about it like an HE spammer, but more like a fire starter spammer if you consider it. But this ship is going to be setting a lot of fires, more than probably what the Flint and the Cleveland sets. So it's going to be a very interesting ship to have in your hands, of course, especially if you're a cruiser main like myself. It is the 2-year anniversary for World of Warships, which is amazing to see that they're still releasing this much updates and content to us in within the 2 years that already happened. Unfortunately for me, it has only been 1 year and 4 months that I started playing this game, but it's still amazing to see how much updates they have released within those 2 years. Moving on, we are going to talk about the aircraft carriers, literally a topic that has been dividing the fan base already. It is going to only be available to two nations, the USA and the Japan. I know you probably triggered by me saying USA and not saying Americans. Whatever. It's going to be available at tier 3, 5, and something that has surprised me is they have made available for tier 7s, which is crazy. Like, I did not expect tier 7 carriers to be out already, but we'll see. Time will tell how these ships react. Yeah, it seems they added 2 modes, airstrike and left to standard mode. So it's going to be like the testing. They're going to have 2 modes, one for the people that want to keep the ship versus ship, and people that want to play with the carriers or against the carriers, of course. We're gonna have that mode. It says to unlock the carriers, you must first unlock the tier 3 battleship. Of course, most of us probably have the tier 3 battleship unlocked already. They are doing interesting changes to some people. They are adding that AA fire consumable that everyone has been talking about. It's going to be very interesting what you're going to sacrifice for those ships that don't have really good AA guns in order to have this consumable. We'll wait and see how this affects many of the ships and builds out there. Maybe we're gonna have a more interesting meta builds coming in. Only time will tell when these metas will come in, with, you know, carriers coming in as well. But something I do want to talk about that has caught my eye is that they're changing how tier 5s up to legendary tier cruisers are going to receive 2 charges of defensive AA fire consumables. If you don't see what's highlighted there, they mention legendary tier cruisers, and the last time and for the first time we played a legendary tier cruiser was the Rooster, back when they were doing the testing for the Conqueror gearing and the Rooster. That was by far one of the first times we have used the cruisers. So if you don't know, they have buffed the tier 7 cruisers a lot over time to fit and balance how they can compete against these legendary ships, which are Yamato, you know, Shimakaze, Conqueror if you haven't unlocked already, the Gearing, the Christopher. I'm missing other ships. Come on. Alaska. There's another ship I'm missing. Um, I can't think about any other ships off the top of my head right now. But these tier 7s do compete against these legendary ships. They are buffed enough to have, you know, the better ship was buffed up. They had heal back then. These tier 7s didn't have heal. They have an extended sonar, of course. Some were buffed in their health pool, of course. Some had low health pool back then. But they do mention legendary tier cruisers. Now, if tier 7s were buffed enough to compete against legendary ships, what is a legendary tier cruiser going to look like if the tier 7s are literally technically quote quote legendary tier cruisers? Now only time will tell what these cruisers are going to be, but it seems to me in my eyes that these cruisers are going to be overpowered. Now you might say the Alaska is a cruiser, but the Alaska is technically a battle cruiser, something different from a cruiser, since it's a hybrid between a battleship and a cruiser. So we'll just let time fly and until they add a, you know, not a battle cruiser, a cruiser, we'll see what is a cruiser and how it's going to affect the battlefield. Moving on, we are going to talk about the arenas, which are Arena Season 2 and Season 3. Now, if you did play the Season 1, you're probably going to agree with me that it was crazy, insane, and you had to have a bucket in order to be in top 1% bracket. But they have changed it. The top 3 brackets are going to have steel, which is really good because Season 1 was just, it was too much for people. There was a lot of debates that people just don't have the time and effort to grant as much as those top 1,650, I want to assume, was the line or the cut line in order to get in top 1%. So they have changed it for only 3 brackets to have add steel. It is going to start on April 19th and May 3rd, which is good to know that they're going to be separated by 2 weeks, just like the rank games. What I was told by the video, it's going to be tier 3 destroyers and tier 3 cruisers, most likely going to be separated like the rank games were with the tier 4 and tier 5. It's going to be very interesting to see how the arena has changed since it's been almost a month since the last arena. They are balancing the German secondary guns. 105mm guns can now penetrate 20mm armors, which are the destroyers and some cruisers out there. This means that if a destroyer were to get close, it most likely will be back in ports sooner than if this buff didn't happen, of course. So this is going to affect a lot of those destroyers that have to get up and close to launch its torpedoes. So it's going to be a little meta change there, but for those destroyers that can launch torpedoes literally at 15 kilometers, 12 kilometers, 10 kilometers, it's not going to be much of an issue there. And you know what destroyers I'm talking about, quote unquote gearing and Japanese destroyers. I'm looking at you. They have added a concealment mod for some ships, which are going to be the Nagato Megami, Yamato, the Key, Vanguard, and the 2 Warhammer ships. It's going to be very interesting to see how this concealment does to these battleships, since it's only about 7-8 ships that are going to get it, and not the whole lineup of battleships at tier 7 and 6. So we'll see what will happen there. They also had added a feature where the division mates and tier 6 and 7 will spawn closer to each other in standard, which is really good news. I did have some issues with this when I would division up. My division mate would be in the other side of the ship, so it's gonna be really interesting to see what this does. We have the red, white, blue legendary project scheduled to be removed, so if you haven't started that, please start that as soon as possible. As long as you start it, it would stay there, so just start it for like 5 seconds and then move on to the project you're working on. We're going to talk about the carriers back again. You're probably going to be like, are you a fan of them? Are you not a fan of them? Right now, I do have a biased opinion about them. I don't like them, but I need to try them out and see if they're good for the game to see. But before I try, you gotta try something you don't like to see if you like it. My biased opinion doesn't mean that they're not gonna be perfect, or they're going to break the game or something. I need to try these characters to see if they're worthy or not worth. They're worth the try to give in my hands. I'm more of a cruiser player than a aircraft player, aka some people consider them potato players. But anyways, guys, I think we have talked about everything in this update. I seem like I'm missing something. They are adding the Golden Week. If you don't know what the Golden Week, it is holidays celebrated in Japan. The Emperor's birthday to the Children's Day. It's like they take a break from their work schedules to attend these events. But what World of Warships Gaming is going to do is add some skins for these Japanese ships, and they're going to add some gifts along with some premium discounts in the ship on April, or I don't know what week they're going to do them. Most likely going to be maybe the 4th week of April, 3rd week of April. But anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, I know it's a little short video, but I did want to make a video on this update to give you guys my opinion on the aircraft ships. I'm not saying that they're going to be broken and they're not good, but more of we're going to have to see and try them out to see if they're good or not. And if they're not good enough, or they break the game, whatever, World of Warships developed team will fix it. That's why we literally have one of the best in the game. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, and I'll see you guys on the next one.